With over 6 different teams moving from EU to NA, which one of these players actually has the most realistic chance to win FNCS on NA? In today's video, I'm going to be going over every single team that has switched over and giving an exact percentage of the chance I think they have of being able to win FNCS on NA. Real quick before we get into this video though, I'm actually trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of summertime. So if you guys are new to the channel, please just subscribe and turn on notifications right now. We are literally like 9,000 subs away at the time of me recording this video. So if you guys just want to help me reach 50k, please just subscribe to the channel. If you want to support me even more, especially when buying the new season's battle pass, please use code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop. It is the best way to support me. Really help me out a lot more than you guys think. Without further ado though, let's get into the first team to switch. I've already made a whole video about this team before, so I'm just going to quickly go over my whole thoughts on them and their exact percentage and everything like that. We have Clix and Vino. So if you guys are new viewers to the channel, I've made whole videos talking about who Clix's new duo should be after he dropped Epic Whale, and I said if Clix really wants to win an FNCS, his best chance is going to be playing with somebody like Vino, and it ended up becoming a reality, which is super cool. And the content they are going to be able to make this season is going to be some of the best stuff we have ever seen. In my opinion, this FNCS is going to be the most entertaining FNCS of all time, just because of how many big name teams are on NA now. Like we have Clix, Vino, Tayson, Pink, Miro, Iamzo, maybe Mongrel and Savage. Like, there's just so many big names on NA that there is no way this isn't going to go down as the greatest FNCS ever. But Clix and Vino have literally been grinding scrims every single day. Clix is playing EU scrims as well as EU evaluation cups. I can't even tell you the last time I've seen Clix play EU scrims or just grind scrims like this in general. He is fully locked in this season and he wants to win FNCS more than anything. The biggest thing with Clix and Vino is if they will be able to get an uncontested POI for this season. That is such a huge part of being able to win an FNCS, as well as something else that Clix really struggles with, and that is Storm Surge. But I feel like him playing with Vino as well as them still partnering up with BloodX, they'll be able to figure out some new Storm Surge routes. And I've already watched a lot of these scrims that they've played and they have been doing just fine on Surge a lot of the time. Vino has a bunch of plans and I guarantee you he will just continue to learn new things about the meta, and both of them will be able to improve together and find a bunch of routes for Storm Surge. I am personally not the biggest fan of Sandy's steps and just landing there. I feel like they are such a good team that contesting a better POI and trying to alpha it would be smarter. But another thing about this season is every single team that has already qualified for the LAN event in Texas is pretty much claimed all of the big name medallion POIs. Like Peterbot and Pollo are going Redline Rig. I'm pretty sure Cold and Acorn are going the other medallion. So it is really smart for all those teams to be going the medallion because they have nothing to lose since they've already qualified for the LAN event. So that kind of forces every other team to land somewhere that is not as overpowered as that, which is already putting them at a disadvantage to win this FNCS. But if I had to give a strictly percentage based chance on them winning FNCS, especially with how much Clix is grinding this season and Vino is coming to NA, I'm pretty sure tomorrow as of the time this video is getting posted, I would have to give them around a 30% chance, which if you stick around for this whole video, that could be one of the higher chances that I give any other team. A 30% chance may not seem like a lot to some people, but for how many teams there are on NA, and especially for them being such a new team, I feel like 30% is very fair, just out of respect factor and just how I truly feel like they are going to be able to place this season. Let's move on to the next guaranteed team now, and that is Pink and Miro. I actually called this one back in my other prediction video. I said I do think that Pink is going to move to NA and play with Miro, and it actually did end up happening. Pink and Miro are landing some like edge of map split around like Charon's Crossing, I'm pretty sure. They're getting double bunker though if they're able to claim this whole split though. And obviously you don't need a whole named POI to be able to do good in FNCS. Literally just look at Kami and Seti from EU. They literally just have the Kami split every single season and they end up placing like top 3 every time, it feels like. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, but to me personally, this is a team that I have lowest on my list for doing good in FNCS this season. I really do hope that they are able to prove me wrong, but Miro, I just don't really see him on the game as much anymore. He had a pretty disappointing last season's FNCS, and Pink is a very good player, but both Pink and Miro are both IGL, so I'm not sure if Pink is going to mainly IGL and then Miro is going to go back to being a fragger. But to me, especially recently, since Miro doesn't really play the game that much anymore, he was best suited to be an IGL now. Obviously, he had most of his success playing with Bugha when he was a fragger, but you have to remember that he also did win a LAN event as an IGL, so I'm not really sure how the roles are going to work on this team. I wouldn't expect Pink to become a fragger, but then I mean, you never really know. They could also kind of like co-IGL. I just feel like there is too many uncertainties with this duo, and even if Miro does start grinding a lot more than he did before, I just don't personally think he is the same player that he once used to be. I know saying that might sound pretty crazy because he won the last last LAN event, but when you really think about it, that LAN event was almost 7 months ago now. So for the chance that I have of them actually being able to win FNCS, I would put them at maybe about a 5% chance. I'm very curious to hear what you guys think about this duo in the comment section down below. I think it will be a very fun team to watch. I think that their ceiling though is like qualing for LAN, and I think that their floor is maybe not even making grands. I know that might sound pretty crazy to a lot of people. I'm just not super high on this team for some reason, but I want to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. All right, next up we have arguably the new favorites for FNCS. We have Tayson and Yamzo. A lot of people are saying that Tayson is just instantly going to come to NA and dominate the region, and I kind of like halfly agree with that. I think they are going to place really well, but to me it's just super surprising that Tayson is even on NA in the first place. I never thought he would leave EU, to be honest. He's known as one of the greatest players of all time, arguably the greatest player of all time. So it is kind of cool now that we have pretty much 3 of the greatest players of all time in Miro, Bugha, and Tayson all in the same region. So it is going to be very fun to see how they are all able to place at the end of the day. I feel like this team specifically is going to do very well in FNCS, but they're not going to do the hottest in like cash cups and things like that. I feel like this team is just made for FNCSs though, and they're made for like LAN events. Then they will place highly once they do make the LAN event. And I do really feel like this team could be a strong favorite for a top 3 in an FNCS. So that means that they definitely do still have a chance to win FNCS. I feel like they are probably one of the biggest locks for being able to at least place in the top 3. Tayson and Yamzo are the team that are going the Cammy split on NA, and that split is literally so insane. It has like 20 chest bonds, so they are going to be just fine on loot. If I had to give them an exact percentage, I would probably give them somewhere around a 25% chance. My top 3 favorite teams on NA right now are obviously Peterbot and Poyo, and then we have Clix and Vino, and then my third favorite team is Yamzo and Tayson. And then another team I feel like I'm kind of just obligated to talk about because they did actually end up coming to NA last season, and that is Paco and Mixin. They have since split, and Mixin is currently the only one that has a new duo, and he's actually bringing over his duo that he qualified to Copenhagen with in Blaka, and Blaka is coming over to the United States, and they're landing next to Brawler's Battleground. Now Paco and Mixin honestly didn't place too bad last season. They ended up getting 15th place in grand finals, and they started off at 7th in day 1, so they really could have finished top 10 in their first season in NA. I don't really know much about Paco and Mixin though to really give them a fair rating, I feel like, so I'm not really going to give them an exact percent, but I do feel like they could very easily make the LAN event still. Well, I mean, obviously not them together anymore since they aren't playing together anymore, but if I were to pick between one of them, I would say that Mixin has a higher chance to be able to make the LAN event, specifically because he is playing with his old duo, and I don't really know who Paco's going to play with, especially because he's going to have to play with someone on NA, and most NA people already have set duos that they're playing with, that it is looking a little bit rough for him. But if I were to make a prediction, I would say that Mixin is at least going to make the LAN event. I don't think he is going to be able to win FNCS though. All right, this last team is a team that I've heard Aussie Antics talk a lot about on moving to NA, and he really thinks that they should do it, and he's really confident that they're going to do it, and it is Mongraal and Mr. Savage. I personally though, I just don't really see them moving to NA now, especially with all the big name teams that have left EU. I feel like they would have a better chance of being able to make the LAN event on EU now than they do NA. They've obviously already been able to make a grand finals on EU before. I just feel like, as crazy as it may sound, they do have a better chance of being able to qualify for LAN on EU than they do on NA, mainly just because of all the new powerhouse teams that are on NA. Like if Mongraal and Mr. Savage go to NA, they're not going to be able to alpha up any drop spot. No team is going to respect them over there. Pretty much everyone just thinks that Mongraal is pretty washed, especially for like competitive wise now, that they're not going to get any respect on the region, and they're just going to have to be fighting for a drop spot all season. I think that it is just smarter for them to stay on EU, and it will lead to better results for them. Other than that, that is pretty much all for today's video. If you guys did enjoy the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Remember, we are trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of summertime. I appreciate all you guys that have subbed to the channel recently. Use code KDog in the Fortnite item shop and support me even more. Hope you guys enjoyed this video though. Comment down below what you guys want to see next, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.